I have one question for Mr. Kim Marty first. According to Eurofer, output of the European construction sector is expected to grow by 2.5% in 2016. When we consider that construction is always a reliable end-user sector for the steel sector, in which ways can the expected growth of construction sector of the European Union in 2016 support the global steel sector? Nazlı Keseli, SteelOrbis.
Well, I think you're seeing the figures that in Europe we still have more capacity, more production than domestic consumption. So basically that's going to happen is that the mills will be able to ship more tons into our domestic markets and less tons into export. So in that sense, we will support the health of the global market.
Okay, thank you very much. And I have another question for Mr. Lee.
Would you mind slowly? I have clear understanding.
Okay, very slowly. In order to gain profits, it is thought capacity utilization rate for steel industry should be at least at 80%. When do you think Chinese utilization will reach to this level, and how to improve the rate?
So in my presentation, I mentioned that to take the overcapacity first. So we currently there are, from last year to currently, there are about 100 million capacity stopped currently. So which involve about roughly 6 steel companies. So that's why the first 2 months the steel production decreased about 5.7%. So currently, last few weeks, the steel price increased. So some stopped the facility, prepare to reopen again. Then it will be affect the market very seriously. So anyhow, it's still not easy if you stop your production to reopen it, because we currently have a strict environmental issues. So that's very key issues. And we're not only for the whole picture, but also for each individual process for the environmental protection seriously. So that's why I mentioned in my picture. And the regulation even more serious than European, than American. So it's not easy for the stopped facility to reopen. Even if they reopen, they have to meet the requirement, very huge investment. So that's why. So I think I'm myself very confident we can solve the problem, but it's not easy issues, because which will involve about roughly 0.5 million employees. Also a lot of debt. So it's not easy. Also the local stability. So it's not easy to increase the utilization from currently 71% to 80%. If we can improve the efficiency rate to 75%, it's a good idea. Currently globally only about 60%. So as the overcapacity, not only China issues, but anyhow, China big capacity, we should try our best to improve first. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Hello. I would like to ask to Mr. Marty. Mr. Marty, do you think will China be granted full market economy status in December this year? And what would be the effect, implication for the global steel industry? Because prices and producers are already under pressure from Chinese exports.
Sorry, say again the beginning of the question.
Do you think China will be granted full market economy status this year?
That I'm not an economist. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know how to answer the question. Sorry.
And I have another question for Mr. Nonkirshan. This year, in the United States, the anti-dumping duty on rebar imports from Turkey, it has been recalculated. Now, new dumping margin is 3.64 for Turkish producers. But the final determination has not been announced yet. In this context, I have three questions to you. Which factors may have been considered in determining this new margin rate? And how do you think the process will result? And how will it affect rebar supplies, prices in United States? Because Turkey is the leading rebar supplier for the country.
Right. Let me answer this way. First of all, we have to understand the redetermination that I was talking about only applies to İktaş and what they call all other Turkish mill, with the exception of Habash. They're still at 0%. So the 3.64% that has been announced by the Department of Commerce and is now with the Court of International Trade would apply to İktaş and other Turkish mills except for Habash. I understand they came about that ruling because the American or the Department of Commerce changed the methodology. And this gets very technical now. I don't want to get into this. It takes too long. But it has something to do that certain factors that they allowed in the past that you could add to your export price, they didn't allow it. So that meant the export price went lower compared to the domestic price, and that's why I guess the 3.64% came about. If it will be approved by the Court of International Trade, and there is still the possibility to appeal that, but if it should go through at one time, yes, I think that is a significant move. It will affect the prices because it's a difference of 2.4% for rebars. That's a lot. So that means that the Turkish mills will probably have to calculate with that margin. It will make it harder to be on the cutting edge of the pricing as they always have been. Yeah?
Questions? No questions? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my thanks and appreciation once again to our distinguished speakers. We will have a lunch break now, which will be followed by the IREPAS committee meeting starting at 2:30. And for the gala dinner, please note that the buses leave from the reception at 7:30 tonight. And once again, please remember that it's very important that you wear your name badges for the gala dinner to avoid any difficulties with gaining access. Thank you.